immediately after joining the career as a teacher in the, I told you, in the Ayurveda College, Kottakkal. That was my UG studies. And at that time was my marriage. Then comes a new person, my husband. And at that time I was in the Ayurveda College, Kottakkal, and this person was having his job, he was a scientist, and their office was in Ernakulam and in Trivandrum, in different place. So there is no chance of coming to Kottakkal. And at that time I was also in the rank list of this PSC list. I had an option to join in that service. So without pleasure in mind, I had to resign my job from that college and join in the government service at Ernakulam. From there onwards, it was according to the advice of my husband, and I was simply obeying him, because anyway we had to lead a good family life. I was highly interested in Kottakkal, because that was all my experience and enjoyment was in that college. So I was interested to work in that college, but because of the safety of our family, I had to resign that and join the government service. And from that day onwards, actually my husband was supporting me by all means. He was interested in research, and being a scientist is always doing conferences, travel, research works like that. So he was pushing me to that field also, by all means, and all support also was there. So he was pushing me to do some research works, and he was giving all the support. So there is some very interesting first experience also in that field to me. In very early young age, there is a highly renowned international conference on this particular subject, Shalakya, not Shalakya, eye disease. It was, the theme was very, what I say, the most dangerous eye disease. And I have very few experience on that subject, treating experience at that time. And my husband was asking me to take part in that conference and to submit a paper, because the organizing committee, that member of that organizing committee was a friend of my husband. So he told me, your wife is in this field, so you ask her to present a paper like that, and he was pushing me for that, my husband. And without full mind, I was trying for that, and with my full effort, I went for that, and that is my worst and best experience, both. That first conference, it was in Ernakulam, leading eye hospital at that time, Little Flower Eye Hospital. And when I went to the room, all the persons were from, only 1 or 2 persons from India, all are from all the countries, very experienced, highly qualified and elder persons. And I am just a small creature among them. I was shivering like anything. I could not even utter a word. But that person, then what happened, they were rejecting me to present my paper. They don't know anything about Ayurveda. They told, you need not present this. When I started my speech, they told, no, you need not go on with that. We are not understanding anything. I am trying to explain Vata, Pitta, Kapha like that, which is very unfamiliar. They don't know anything about Vata, Pitta, Kapha like that. Nowadays, all the people around the world know what is Ayurveda, something about that, but at that time it was very suppressed thing. So I was very sad and could not understand anything, and I was up to cry. Then the person who was pushed me to this, I was alone, my husband was not with me at that time. That organizer came to me, then Santhakumari, you please stop it, need not. Then I was, my ego came out and told me, you invited me, so I have to present. That was my attitude. Then one of the person told me, you can just explain what is the basics of this Ayurvedic ophthalmology first, then we can understand. Like. Then I was not prepared for such a class, to such a great audience. all are above 60 I think, and the topmost ophthalmologists of the world sitting in my front, and I am only by the age of 30 around that, and with the least experience and the youngest one, and without any knowledge at that time compared to them. So I had to then they told me how much time you need to give such an introduction, a basic knowledge about your field like that. Then I told 5.5 years, because I do have 5.5 years to get basic knowledge. That is the basic UG course period. Then they were laughing, and I told that is not necessary. You are simply making fun of us, and we will give half an hour. Then finally he told 1 hour. You just think at that time only 7 minutes, 10 minutes are allotted for a person, and they gave me 45 minutes to explain the basic theory of Ayurvedic ophthalmology, so that they can understand what I said. It was a great challenge for me. How can I explain all the basics of Ayurvedic ophthalmology, so that these people can understand what I am going to say. So I was in a very dangerous situation, and anyway I told them, yes, I will try. Then with all my efforts and praying all the gods, I started. Because at that time you just think one unusual energy will come to your mind, because it is the point of existence. I had to exist in front of them and prove them that I can say. So that is the greatest challenge I have ever taken in my life, I think. Then with the full effort I started, without any preparation. I have not even a single paper with me, nothing. Then I explained everything. By half an hour I completed everything. Then I got a big clap. There was pin drop silence during that period. And the person who objected me first, they was standing up, and he told me that, doctor, I have Vada predominant Drishtigata Roga. That is the term of a basic term, and you will can you do Tarpana for my disease? It will benefit me, I believe. That means he could understand what I was saying. Then I say, then I told I have to take case first. Then I will decide like that. Then if you are ready, I am ready to take this treatment for this on this stage. Like that. That was the person who was objecting me for the first time. Then I started then was first relaxed for me. Then I started my paper, and everybody was listening with the pin drop silence. And that is the first outburst to my career. On the next day paper, in many papers, especially in Hindu or Indian like that, it is a full page description about this seminar. Such a high level seminar it was, and there was my picture, my photo, and in a box it was written, there is hope yet in Ayurveda, like that. Then after that so many letters came to me, and so many people were contacting me, and that was my first experience and outburst, and it is just because of my help of my husband. From that day onwards, I am always now doing different participating in conferences. I am full confident. Then and that day I decided I need not sacrifice or dissolving anything, the science which I have studied. I was sticking on to Ayurveda only. Otherwise, I have to make them understand on the with that terminologies. Then it will be a failure for me, I know. They are highly qualified person. I cannot explain my topic in that terminologies on that level. I can only talk in Ayurveda. So that was the greatest success for me, and they agreed, and they were understanding what Ayurveda from that. So that was my first confident step, that what you have studied is Ayurveda, be on that only, be faithful on that, never deviate from that. and I am keeping that even now. I will talk only about Ayurveda, I will stand in Ayurveda, I will never compromise anything for for the sake of Ayurveda. And my husband was always supporting for that. He will permit me to to go anywhere for any conference and any seminar like that, and it's a great son. And when I started when he saw my interest in manufacturing and also preparing medicine, he also started to make medicine. And actually he was keep awake in the whole night to support me for making different types of medicines and the sample. And he will give his, he was in chemistry, actually PhD in chemistry. So that also was a very help for me. He will say this should be the time and this should be the, some support from that level also was given to me. That was an additional support. I could use his knowledge in my career. And from then comes to my children. I have only one son, Arunjit, and actually he was not interested in the field of treatment. But when he came to understand the other things of family, that manufacturing and preparations and hospitals like that, he was interested in the management and how to keep the quality of the hospital, how to manage it, how to bring it up. Because I am only one lady, I cannot do everything, and new technologies and new advices are necessary for the setup of a hospital. He told me that if you are so much interested, we can start a hospital. And then I told, I will be only treating the patient, somebody should be there to for the administration. Then he was MBA in hospital administration, then quality control and all the qualifications again. Then he was supporting me to the 100% support is from him now. And that was why I could shine, and we could, and later what happened is all these things turned to be a family concern. That is the success, and just because of the support from my son only. And he married an Ayurveda doctor itself. Then I told he was UG only, then we decided to get the qualification this same subject in the PG level, and she completed it. Now I have hope with my son and his wife, this can be brought up further and can be flourished later, and I am praying for that, I am hoping for that.